If manifestation feels inconsistent, confusing, or exhausting, there's usually one reason. You're focusing on desire instead of repetition. Desire feels powerful because it's emotional. Repetition feels boring because it's structural. Reality responds to structure, not intensity. Most people approach change like this. They get inspired, they want something deeply, they decide this time is different. They think differently, they feel motivated, they take action, and for a short period of time, things move, things work. And then life applies pressure. Energy drops, doubt appears, old habits resurface, momentum fades, and the same outcomes repeat. And at that point, people assume one of three things. They assume that they didn't want it badly enough. They assume that they didn't believe hard enough, or they assume that manifestation just doesn't work for them. And none of those things are accurate. What failed wasn't desire. What failed was repetition. Reality doesn't respond to what you do occasionally. It responds to what you do consistently, especially under pressure. That's how every system works. If you heat up a pan once, nothing changes. But if you heat it up repeatedly, structure changes. If you lift weights once, nothing adapts. But if you lift weights repeatedly, the body adapts. And the same principle applies to your life. The system that you're living inside doesn't register intention spikes. It registers patterns. So here's the part that most people miss. Repetition is not just behavior. It is identity expressed over time. What you repeat emotionally, what you repeat mentally, what you repeat behaviorally, especially when motivation is gone. That's the data that reality responds to. This is why two people can want the same thing and get very different results. They don't repeat the same internal configuration. One person repeats doubt, urgency, and self-correction. The other repeats regulation, direction, and follow through. The same desire, just different repetition, different outcome. Most people overestimate desire and underestimate consistency. They think that the system should reward clarity, but clarity without repetition doesn't compound. The system doesn't respond to clarity once. It responds to coherence, sustain. And this also explains why people feel like they lose progress. They didn't lose progress. They stopped repeating the pattern that created it. When the repetition stopped, probability stopped compounding. So outcomes stabilized where they always had. This isn't punishment, it's neutrality. So here's where this gets uncomfortable, but this is important. Repetition reveals identity. Not the identity that you aspire to, the identity that you default to, the identity that shows up when you're tired, when reassurance disappears, when results lag, when pressure increases. That identity is the one that you're repeating. And that's the identity that reality responds to. This is why motivation-based change always collapses. Motivation creates spikes, spikes don't compound, repetition compounds. And repetition requires something deeper than motivation. It requires identity coherence. So let's ground this with a simple example. Someone wants financial stability. They desire it intensely. They think about it daily. They visualize it clearly. But when uncertainty appears, they panic. They overreact. They make short-term decisions. They abandon consistency for relief. What are they repeating? Not wealth. They're repeating instability. And the system responds accordingly. Not because the system is cruel, but because it's accurate. Now, imagine the same desire with a different repetition. The person regulates emotion faster. They tolerate delay. They keep a non-negotiable flow of action. They repeat steadiness even when the results are quiet. Over time, probability shifts, not dramatically, gradually, reliably. That's repetition doing this work. This is also why people confuse alignment with luck. They notice that when they stay aligned, opportunities appear. What's actually happening is a lot simpler. Alignment stabilizes repetition. Stable repetition narrows probability. Narrow probability feels like predictability, and predictability feels like things are working. It's not magic, it's compounding. And there's another important distinction here. Repetition does not mean perfection, it means consistency within imperfection. You don't need flawless thoughts, you don't need consistent calm, you don't need endless discipline. You need enough consistency that direction stabilizes. That's it. This is why force backfires. When people try to force change, they usually break repetition. They sprint, then collapse. They overhaul everything, then they abandon it. They push emotionally, and then they recoil. Force creates volatility, and volatility destroys repetition. The system can't respond to volatility. If manifestation has felt unreliable for you, this is usually the missing piece. You've been asking, why isn't this working yet? And a better question is, what am I actually repeating? Not on good days, not on ordinary days, on hard days, on days where nothing seems to be happening. That's the pattern that the system responds to. This is why repetition is a crucial practice, not because repetition is exciting, but because repetition is honest. It shows you who you're being. And once you see that, you regain leverage. You stop trying to feel your way into results. You start structuring your way into them. Desire can point to direction, but repetition builds the road. Without repetition, desire stays theoretical. With repetition, probability compounds, and eventually outcomes follow. So if you want manifestation to feel calmer and more reliable, you stop asking how to want harder and start asking how to repeat more cleanly. Desire initiates, repetition stabilizes, reality responds every time.